After 1358 years of silence, a human mechanic confronted the frozen alien guardian. Ethan Harper had always loved the stars. Since he was a boy growing up in a small town in Nevada, he would look up at the night sky and imagine what might be out there. His father had been a mechanic, fixing engines and machines, and Ethan had inherited the same hands-on curiosity. Now, hundreds of years later, he traveled among the stars in a worn freighter. The ship was small but sturdy, patched up many times with old human technology, and it carried him to places most people avoided. Ethan's co-pilot, Lily Monroe, often complained about his curiosity. "Why do you always go toward the abandoned stations and dead systems?" she asked, crossing her arms. She had a practical mind and a calm presence. While Ethan dreamed, Lily calculated. She was the kind of person who thought about oxygen levels, fuel efficiency, and potential dangers. Together, they made a good team, balancing each other. Today, they drifted near a region known as the Andromeda Outskirts, a place far from human colonies. Ethan's scanner had picked up a faint signal, almost like a whisper across space. It was irregular and weak, but it was definitely there. "Lily," Ethan said, his eyes lighting up. "Look at this. It's coming from that old station over there." He pointed to a dark silhouette floating among shattered asteroids. Lily squinted at the readings. "Ethan, the station has been silent for over 1,000 years. There is probably nothing left but scrap and radiation traps." "You really want to go there?" Ethan smiled. "Exactly. That's why I have to see it. Imagine what might be inside. It could be ancient technology, maybe even something alive." Lily shook her head but didn't stop him. She had learned long ago that arguing with Ethan only slowed things down. Fine. We'll check it out. But I'm warning you, if this goes wrong, I'm taking the escape pod." The freighter moved carefully toward the station. The closer they got, the more Ethan noticed the strange patterns etched into its surface. The station was enormous, far larger than any human craft he had ever seen. Its outer hull was covered in frost, shimmering with a strange blue light, almost as if it was frozen in time. The silence of the place made Ethan feel uneasy and excited at the same time. As they docked, Ethan and Lily prepared their tools. Ethan carried a small backpack filled with mechanical instruments, scanners, and a few old-fashioned wrenches. Lily had her tablet and environmental sensors. Together they stepped onto the station, the airlock opening with a hiss. The first thing they noticed was the cold. It was unnatural, almost biting, and it seemed to come from every direction. The main hall of the station stretched farther than their eyes could see. Broken machinery floated in low gravity, frozen mid-motion. Sparks occasionally jumped from damaged consoles. Ethan moved forward slowly, his boots echoing against the metal floor. Lily followed closely, her eyes scanning for radiation or unstable energy sources. Then Ethan saw it. At the center of the hall, encased in thick, crystal-like ice, stood a massive figure. It was taller than any human, armored and humanoid, but clearly alien. Its body seemed mechanical and organic at the same time, with lines of glowing energy running along its chest and limbs. The ice that held it shimmered and pulsed faintly, as though the figure inside was breathing, even if only slowly. "Alive?" Lily whispered. Ethan didn't answer immediately. He studied the figure, taking in every detail. "I don't know," he said finally, "but I think it is. Look at the energy lines. They are faint, but they are moving. That thing has been asleep for centuries, maybe over 1,000 years, but I think it can wake up." Lily frowned. "Or it could kill us the moment we get too close." Ethan knelt and pulled out a small scanner. He ran it over the ice, the device beeping softly. The readings confirmed his suspicion. The alien inside had a functioning energy core. It wasn't dead. It had been waiting, silent, for a very long time. Ethan's excitement grew. This is incredible. It's a guardian of some kind. And I think I can talk to it, maybe even repair it. Ethan, it's frozen in a block of alien ice. How do you plan to repair it? With patience and tools, everything has a system, even this. If I can understand it, I can wake it safely. Lily rolled her eyes but helped him set up a small portable generator to power the scanners. Ethan began examining the ice around the Guardian, looking for weak points and energy conduits. He noticed small cracks, lines that seemed to connect to the creature's chest. Carefully, he inserted a probe and activated it. The ice shimmered, and a faint vibration ran through the hall. The Guardian stirred slightly, its eyes remaining closed but its energy lines flickering brighter. "Did you see that?" Ethan said, excitement in his voice. "It's responding." Lily kept a cautious distance, ready to pull Ethan back if necessary. "Be careful, you don't know what it's capable of." Hours passed. Ethan worked tirelessly, adjusting his probes, testing energy patterns, and repairing small conduits in the ice. He was methodical, patient, and careful. Lily documented everything, recording the Guardian's responses. Slowly, the ice began to melt in certain areas, as though the Guardian itself was helping him. Finally, with a low hum, a large crack appeared along the chest of the Guardian. Steam rose from the broken ice, and the hall grew warmer. Ethan stepped back, watching as the figure began to move. Its head tilted slightly, glowing eyes opening for the first time in 1358 years. The light from the eyes was not bright, but it was piercing, scanning everything in the hall, especially the humans. The Guardian raised a massive hand, its movements careful and slow, as though testing its strength. Ethan swallowed hard. He had never seen anything like this. It was not just a machine, not just an alien. It was something in between, something ancient and powerful. Ethan stepped forward slightly, raising his hands in a gesture of peace. "We don't mean any harm," he said. "I'm Ethan Harper, and this is Lily Monroe. We want to understand you, not fight you." The Guardian's eyes flickered again, and it made a low humming sound. Ethan couldn't understand it, but he sensed intelligence, awareness, and caution. It seemed to study them as much as they studied it. Suddenly, a small tremor shook the hall. The ice shifted violently, and debris fell from the ceiling. Ethan ducked and grabbed Lily's arm to pull her to safety. The Guardian did not move aggressively. Instead, it shifted slightly to stabilize itself, almost as if it understood their fear. Lily exhaled, her face pale. "I think it's trying to figure us out." "Yes, it's alive, and it's intelligent. I can feel it. We have a chance to communicate with something ancient, something humans have never seen before." They spent the next several hours studying the Guardian. Ethan experimented with mechanical signals, lights, and gentle vibrations, trying to elicit responses. Lily monitored the energy patterns, recording the Guardian's reactions. Slowly, patterns emerged. Subtle movements, flashes of light, changes in the hum. The Guardian was responding. It was cautious, testing them, learning them. As night passed outside the station, Ethan and Lily continued their work. The air inside grew warmer, the ice melting slowly, revealing more of the alien form. Its armor was intricate, with patterns that seemed to tell a story, but they couldn't yet read it. Ethan touched a small panel on the chest, feeling the faint pulse of energy. "This is incredible," he whispered. "This thing has been asleep for over 1,000 years, and it's still alive. Its systems are amazing, and I think it can teach us so much." Lily nodded, her fear slowly giving way to fascination. Just promise me you won't push it too far. If it wants to protect something, we can't predict what it will do." Ethan smiled. "I know, but I have to try. Humans have always learned by reaching for the unknown. That's what makes us, us." The Guardian remained still for a while, its eyes glowing faintly, observing them. Then, with a slow, deliberate motion, it raised one hand and pointed toward a console on the wall. Ethan and Lily exchanged a glance. The console had been dormant, covered in frost and dust. Ethan stepped forward and activated it. Lights flickered, energy hummed, and a faint holographic map appeared in the air. The map showed star systems, many unknown to humans, and one glowing point, the location of something important. Ethan's heart raced. He had not only found a guardian, but possibly a guide to ancient knowledge, long lost to time. Lily watched him, eyes wide. "Ethan, do you realize what this could mean?" Ethan nodded, staring at the map. "Yes, this is only the beginning. We have awakened something that has been silent for over 1,000 years. And whatever comes next, we will face it together." The Guardian's eyes followed them, calm yet alert. It seemed to approve of their intentions, but its full power and abilities were still a mystery. Ethan knew that this was the start of a journey that could change humanity's place in the galaxy forever. As they prepared to explore the station further, Ethan felt a mix of fear and excitement. The frozen Guardian had been silent for centuries, and now, slowly, it was beginning to speak in its own way. And he, a simple human mechanic, would be the one to understand it. The first contact had been made, and the story of trust, courage, and human ingenuity was only beginning. The first night in the station passed slowly. Ethan Harper and Lily Monroe could feel the weight of history pressing down on them. Outside, the stars glimmered cold and distant, but inside the station, the frozen Guardian hummed softly, a quiet reminder of the ancient power they had awakened. He moved carefully around the central hall, checking the alien systems, studying the glowing energy lines that now pulsed more steadily. The Guardian remained still but aware, its eyes flicking open occasionally to watch him work. Lily sat near a console, monitoring the temperature and energy flows. She could feel the tension in the station, the sense that something powerful had awakened, and it was only waiting for the right moment to move. "You're working too fast," Lily said quietly, not looking up from her tablet. "You don't even know what it is capable of. You could trigger something dangerous." Ethan glanced at her with a small smile. "I know, but I have to try. This thing has been asleep for over 1,000 years. If I don't understand it now, we may never have another chance. We need to know what it is, what it protects, and why it was frozen in the first place." Lily sighed. She had learned long ago that Ethan's curiosity was unstoppable. "I just hope your curiosity doesn't get us killed." The first signs of the Guardian's movement came as a faint vibration under their feet. Ethan noticed it first. "It's moving," he whispered. "I can feel the energy. Something is changing." The Guardian slowly lifted one massive hand. Ice cracked around its fingers, and a small wave of energy ran through the hall. Ethan froze for a moment, his heart pounding. He realized that this was the first deliberate movement since it had been frozen for centuries. The Guardian's head turned toward him, eyes glowing with a steady light. It was studying him, measuring him, trying to decide if he was a threat. Ethan took a deep breath and stepped forward slowly. "I'm Ethan Harper," he said, raising his hands in a gesture of peace. "This is Lily Monroe. We mean no harm. We want to understand you." For a long moment, the Guardian did nothing but observe. Then, with a sudden motion, it raised both hands and pointed to a console on the wall. The gesture was deliberate, and precise. Ethan exchanged a glance with Lily. "It wants us to activate it," he whispered. They moved carefully toward the console. Ethan placed his hands on the controls, scanning for energy flows and checking for traps. The console hummed to life, and the station shook slightly. Lights flickered and a holographic map appeared in the air, showing star systems that were unfamiliar and one glowing point that seemed important. This is incredible," Ethan said, his voice barely above a whisper. "It's showing us something. Some kind of path or location. Do you realize what this could mean? This isn't just a map. It's a guide, and it trusts us enough to share it." Ethan nodded, studying the glowing lines on the map. He could feel the Guardian's gaze on him, calm but powerful, as though it were deciding how much to reveal. The Guardian began to move, slowly at first, testing its strength. Its armored limbs creaked as ice melted from joints, and a low hum filled the hall. Ethan realized that it was more than alive. It was intelligent, aware, and capable of incredible power. "Okay," Ethan said quietly. "We have to communicate. Quea, but not with words. We need to show it we are careful, that we understand its systems." Lily frowned. "And how do you propose to do that?" "It's not human. It doesn't think like us." Ethan smiled. "We start small. I'll work on the mechanical connections, the energy conduits. We show it we know how to repair, not harm." Over the next several hours, Ethan examined the Guardian's armor and energy nodes. He used small tools to repair minor circuits and adjust the flow of energy. Lily monitored the station, recording every reaction. The Guardian's eyes followed their every movement, its gaze steady and calculating. It tested them with subtle changes, moving a limb slightly, sending small pulses through the floor, creating a low hum that resonated through the hall. Ethan understood these as challenges, ways to measure human intelligence, patience, and intent. At one point, a sudden surge of energy pulsed from the Guardian. Sparks flew from a nearby console, and a small panel in the ceiling collapsed. Ethan ducked just in time, and Lily grabbed his arm to pull him back. They realized that the Guardian was not just testing them with small movements. It could be powerful, even dangerous. "I think it's testing us," Ethan said, breathing heavily. "It wants to see if we can handle pressure, if we are careful and clever. That's why it reacted that way. It didn't mean to hurt us. It wanted to see how we would respond." Lily nodded slowly, and we passed the first test. Barely. The Guardian settled into a slower rhythm, its movements more deliberate. Ethan noticed that the energy patterns in its chest were now steady, almost as if it were acknowledging their efforts. It extended one arm toward a large door at the far end of the hall. The gesture was clear. It wanted them to follow. Ethan glanced at Lily. "Do you want to do this?" Lily hesitated. "We have to. There's no going back now. Whatever is beyond that door, it wants us to see it." They moved cautiously, stepping over the cracked ice and frozen machinery. The door opened with a hiss, revealing a chamber filled with alien devices, some floating in mid-air. The walls were covered in glowing symbols, faintly pulsing in rhythm with the Guardian's energy. Ethan could feel the history in the room, a civilization long gone yet still preserved through the Guardian's power. "This place is incredible," Ethan whispered. "It's like stepping into another time. The technology, it's far beyond anything humans have built." The Guardian moved into the center of the chamber, scanning every corner, then turning its eyes on Ethan and Lily. Ethan realized that the Guardian was assessing their intentions once more. It was cautious but willing to let them continue. Ethan approached a floating device, carefully studying its structure. He noticed small energy conduits, similar to the ones he had repaired on the Guardian. Using his tools, he connected them, aligning the flows. The device hummed to life, spinning slowly in the air. Symbols glowed brighter, and a small projection appeared, showing stars, planets, and strange geometrical structures. It's showing us more than just maps. It's showing knowledge, history, maybe even instructions. Ethan nodded, fascinated. This is beyond anything we've ever seen, and the Guardian is letting us access it. It trusts us. Hours passed as they explored the chamber. Ethan repaired minor systems, activated more devices, and studied the Guardian's responses. Each time the Guardian moved, it tested them, sometimes sending energy pulses, sometimes moving objects. Ethan learned quickly to anticipate its actions and respond carefully. Lily began to understand the patterns as well, helping Ethan communicate indirectly with the ancient being. At one point, the Guardian extended a glowing finger toward a floating panel, and symbols appeared in the air. Ethan reached out, touching the symbols lightly. He felt a connection, not with words, but with understanding. The Guardian seemed to transmit knowledge directly to him. Mechanical schematics, energy flows, and star system coordinates. "It's teaching us," Ethan whispered. "Not with words, but with understanding. I can feel it. I can almost read its intentions." Lily looked impressed but worried. "Just remember, we don't know what else it can do. This knowledge is powerful. It could be dangerous in the wrong hands." Ethan nodded. "I know, but I have to learn it. Humans can use this knowledge wisely. We have to show the Guardian that we are worthy of trust." As they continued, the Guardian made a sudden movement, stepping closer to them. Its massive form cast long shadows across the chamber. Ethan froze, unsure if it was a warning or something else. Then it bent slightly, lowering a hand. A small holographic object appeared, a cube of glowing energy. Ethan reached out, careful not to touch the Guardian, and took it. The cube contained detailed schematics for an ancient alien engine, unlike anything humans had ever seen. Ethan's mind raced with possibilities. Starships, energy weapons, faster-than-light travel. Yet he understood the responsibility. This knowledge was not a toy, it was a tool and a test. The Guardian observed silently, its eyes calm but watchful. Ethan realized that they had passed another test, not of strength, but of character. They had approached with caution, curiosity, and care. The Guardian had accepted them as allies rather than threats. Finally, after what felt like days but was only hours, the Guardian moved back to its pedestal, its eyes still glowing softly. Ethan and Lily sat down, exhausted but exhilarated. They had made the first real connection with a being that had been silent for 1358 years, and it had allowed them to begin understanding its world. Ethan looked at Lily. "We're not just discovering alien technology. We're discovering a partner, a guide, a protector, and it's letting us learn." Lily nodded, still cautious. "Yes, but we have to be careful. This is only the beginning. Whatever comes next, we need to be ready." Ethan smiled. "We are ready. Humans always find a way. That's what makes us strong. Curiosity, courage, and a willingness to try, those are our strengths. And I think the Guardian sees that now." As the two humans rested, the Guardian's hum filled the chamber. It was no longer a silent figure of ice. It was awake, aware, and watching. And for the first time in over a millennium, it was ready to act again, guided by the hands of a human mechanic and his companion. The station no longer felt empty. It was alive with energy, knowledge, and the quiet understanding of an ancient being and the humans who had dared to awaken it. And the journey that would test courage, intelligence, and trust was only beginning. The station had grown quiet again, but the silence was not empty. Ethan Harper could feel the energy of the Guardian pulsing through the hall. Every step he took seemed measured, as if the alien could sense the intentions in his mind. Lily Monroe moved carefully beside him, tablet in hand, recording every pattern of light and movement. They had made progress, but Ethan knew the real test had not yet begun. "The Guardian is learning about us," Ethan whispered, "and we're learning about it. But I think it's going to challenge us next." Challenge us? Ethan, we already survived to being frozen for over 1,000 years. What else could it do? Ethan did not answer. He had felt it, a subtle vibration in the floor, the low hum that seemed to grow in strength whenever they approached too quickly or made sudden movements. The Guardian was not just alive, it was aware, intelligent, and ready to test them. They entered a larger chamber, one that Ethan had not seen before. The walls glowed with symbols that shifted slowly, almost like flowing water. At the center, a platform rose, surrounded by floating panels that displayed strange shapes, energy currents, and alien schematics. The Guardian stood on the edge of the platform, watching them with glowing eyes that seemed to see into their very thoughts. Ethan stepped forward, hands raised slightly in a gesture of peace. "We mean no harm," he said. "We want to learn. We want to help." The Guardian tilted its head and extended one massive arm toward the panels. The symbols on the floating panels shifted, forming patterns that Ethan recognized as challenges. They were puzzles of energy flows, mechanical sequences, and logical connections. Ethan realized that the Guardian was testing their intelligence and problem-solving skills. "It's giving us tests," Ethan said quietly. "We have to solve them." Lily studied the panels, her fingers tracing the holographic shapes. "Some of these patterns are complex, far beyond human systems. But if we work together, maybe we can do it." They began with small tests. Panels projected energy conduits, some glowing too brightly, some too faint. Ethan carefully adjusted the connections using his tools, aligning the flows so that the energy would move correctly. Lily watched for changes in the Guardian's reactions, noting every flicker of light, every vibration. Hours passed. Each challenge grew harder. The Guardian moved among them, testing their reflexes, judgment, and patience. At one point, a sudden surge of energy sent a small console flying toward Ethan. He jumped back just in time, using his tool to redirect the energy safely. The Guardian observed silently, as if taking note of their responses. "This is more than intelligence," Ethan whispered to Lily. "It's testing our courage, our control, and our morality. Every movement we make, it watches." Lily nodded, her face pale but determined. "We have to prove that humans are careful, clever, and worthy of its trust. One wrong step, and it might see us as a threat." Panels along the walls projected a shifting floor, glowing with unstable energy fields. Ethan and Lily had to step carefully, balancing and adjusting the energy flows to create a safe path. The Guardian extended its arms, sending pulses of energy that forced them to react quickly. One misstep could have sent them tumbling into a pit of energy, but they moved with care and precision. Ethan felt the thrill of danger, the rush of problem-solving under pressure. "This is incredible," he whispered. "We're being tested, but we're learning at the same time. This is what humans do best. We adapt." Lily smiled faintly. "Adaptation is fine, but don't let your pride get the better of you. One mistake and we could be history." After the physical test, the Guardian sent a more subtle challenge. It projected illusions, images of destroyed ships, collapsing stations, and humans trapped in dangerous situations. Ethan realized that these were moral tests, simulations designed to see how they would respond under pressure. We have to choose wisely, Ethan said. The Guardian wants to see if we care about others, if we can make decisions without selfishness. They guided simulated crews to safety, repaired failing systems, and navigated impossible scenarios. Each choice was critical, each action observed. The Guardian's eyes glowed brighter when they succeeded, dimmer when they hesitated. Hours turned into a day. Ethan's mind raced. His mechanical skills stretched to their limits, and Lily's calculations grew faster and more precise. They were learning the Guardian's patterns, understanding its logic, and anticipating its tests. Finally, the Guardian moved closer, towering over them. Its eyes scanned every inch of their bodies, every gesture, every response. Then it extended a hand, and a large holographic panel appeared. This one was different. It displayed a massive star system with multiple planets, asteroid belts, and unknown structures. At the center was a glowing point, the location of something important. Ethan reached out carefully, touching the panel. The energy flowed through his fingers, and he understood immediately. This was the Guardian's purpose, the mission it had protected for centuries. It was not simply a sentinel. It was a keeper of knowledge, a defender of civilizations long gone. Lily watched as Ethan absorbed the information. "Do you understand what it's showing you?" she asked quietly. Ethan nodded. "Yes, this is a map of systems where civilizations once thrived. The Guardian has been waiting to pass this knowledge to someone worthy, and I think it has chosen us." The Guardian made a low hum, moving back slightly, as if acknowledging their success. Ethan realized that they had passed the tests, not just intelligence, but courage, patience, and morality. The Guardian had accepted them as allies. But the tests were not over. The Guardian moved to another part of the chamber, extending a finger toward a floating sphere. Ethan approached it carefully. The sphere contained energy readings that were complex, unstable, and powerful. It was a simulation of ancient alien machinery, far beyond human understanding. "Incredible," Ethan whispered. "It's showing us how to repair and control technology that hasn't been used in over 1,000 years. Lily frowned. "It's dangerous. If we make one mistake." "I know, but we have to try. This is what humans do best. We take risks, learn, and adapt." They worked together, adjusting energy flows, repairing minor damage in the simulation, and slowly bringing the sphere to stability. The Guardian observed silently, occasionally sending small pulses to test their reactions. Each pulse required them to adjust quickly, to think and act at the same time. Hours passed, and finally, the sphere stabilized. The energy flows aligned perfectly, and a soft hum filled the chamber. Ethan and Lily stepped back, exhausted but exhilarated. The Guardian moved closer, lowering its massive head to look at them. Its eyes glowed steadily, no longer flickering with caution. Ethan realized that the Guardian had not only tested their intelligence and courage, it had tested their character, their patience, their care for others, their ability to adapt under pressure, had all been observed. And now it had accepted them. The Guardian extended one hand, and a small holographic object appeared, a cube of glowing energy. Ethan reached out and took it carefully. Inside, he saw schematics, coordinates, and instructions for technologies humans had never imagined. Faster than light engines, energy weapons, and defensive systems were all within reach, but Ethan understood the responsibility. "This is incredible," he whispered. "We have the knowledge to do great things, but we have to be careful. The Guardian trusts us with this." Lily nodded. "Yes. Da, I. Da, I. And we have to prove that we are worthy of it. One mistake, and all of this could be lost." The Guardian made a low, steady hum as if agreeing. Ethan realized that the tests had been successful. They had proven their worth. The ancient being had observed them, challenged them, and now had chosen them as partners. Ethan and Lily sat down to rest. Their minds were tired, their bodies exhausted, but their spirits were high. They had faced the Guardian's challenges, survived its tests, and learned from its knowledge. They had made the first real connection with a being that had been silent for over a millennium. "This is only the beginning," Ethan said quietly. "The Guardian has shown us its trust. Now we have to show it that humans are capable of great things. Curiosity, courage, and intelligence. These are our strengths. And I think it sees that now." Lily smiled faintly. "Yes, but we have to stay careful. The Guardian may trust us, but we are still learning. One wrong step could undo everything." Ethan nodded. "I know, but we are ready. Humans have always found a way, and together we can do this." The Guardian watched them silently, its eyes glowing steadily, its presence calm but powerful. It had tested them, challenged them, and now accepted them. The bond between human and alien was forming, built on trust, courage, and a willingness to learn. Outside, the stars shone cold and distant, but inside the station a new partnership had begun. One that could change the fate of civilizations and the course of the galaxy. Ethan Harper, a simple human mechanic, and Lily Monroe, his cautious and clever companion, had faced a being frozen for over 1358 years, and now, together, they were ready for whatever came next. The chamber was quiet now. Ethan Harper and Lily Monroe sat together, exhausted but alert. The Guardian had tested them, challenged them, and now seemed at peace. Its massive form stood in the center, eyes glowing steadily, observing them with a calm intensity that felt both powerful and gentle. After centuries of silence, it had finally moved, and it had accepted the humans as allies. Ethan carefully examined the glowing cube he had received during the last test. Its light pulsed softly, displaying star systems, schematics, and energy flows. It was a treasure trove of knowledge, far beyond human understanding. He felt the weight of responsibility pressing on him. This was not just information. It was a guide, a mission, and a trust given by an ancient being. "We need to understand this," Ethan said quietly, "before we do anything else. If we misuse it, the consequences could be disastrous." "I know, but the Guardian is giving it to us for a reason. It trusts us. That means we have to be careful, but also brave enough to use this knowledge wisely. That's humanity. Curiosity, caution, and courage. We have to balance all three." The Guardian moved closer, and Ethan felt the air vibrate with its energy. It raised a hand, pointing to the cube, then extended its other hand toward a console on the wall. Ethan realized the gesture meant it wanted them to interact, to learn directly from the systems it had protected for over a millennium. With careful movements, Ethan approached the console and activated it. Holographic panels floated in the air, displaying alien systems, engines, and energy conduits. He studied each carefully, following the guidance of the Guardian. Lily assisted, interpreting the patterns and helping stabilize the energy flows. Together, they worked as a team, bridging human knowledge and alien technology. Hours passed, and slowly, the Guardian began to show them more. It moved with deliberate gestures, projecting holograms of starship designs, advanced engines, and energy weapons. Ethan's hands worked quickly, replicating the flows and patterns using his tools. Lily monitored every step, making sure nothing became unstable. "This is amazing," Ethan whispered. "We're learning from a being that has seen civilizations rise and fall, and it's trusting us to carry its knowledge forward. Lily looked at the Guardian, her eyes wide. Why, do you think it knows what humanity will do with this? Ethan nodded. I think it hopes we will use it wisely. And I believe we will. Humans can adapt, learn, and create. That's why it's helping us. The Guardian extended a glowing hand and a holographic projection appeared, showing a distant star system where a civilization had once thrived. Ethan and Lily studied the images, noticing structures, energy grids, and spacecraft designs. The Guardian's gesture seemed to indicate that humans could help protect or rebuild what had been lost. We can do this, Ethan said quietly. We can use this knowledge to help. Not to destroy, but to preserve. Lily nodded, her fingers tracing the holographic symbols. Yes, but we have to be careful. The Guardian has waited over 1,000 years. It knows the risks better than we do. The Guardian's eyes glowed brighter, and it made a low, vibrating sound. Ethan felt it as a signal of acknowledgement, a form of approval. They had passed all its tests, and now it had chosen them as partners, guides, and protectors. Ethan turned to Lily. We need to prepare. The Guardian will teach us, but we must also be ready to act. Knowledge alone is not enough. We have to understand responsibility. Lily smiled faintly. I'm ready. We've come this far. We can't stop now. Over the next day, Ethan and Lily worked alongside the Guardian, repairing damaged systems, aligning energy flows, and stabilizing the station. The Guardian moved with them, guiding their hands, showing them patterns, and responding to their actions. They learned to communicate without words, using gestures, lights, and energy flows. Slowly, a bond formed between human and alien, a bond of trust, respect, and shared purpose. At one point, the Guardian led them to a massive chamber deep within the station. In the center was a dormant ship, enormous and sleek, built with materials and technology humans could barely comprehend. The Guardian extended a hand toward it, indicating that they should explore. Ethan approached cautiously, running his tools along the hull. The metal was cold but strong, and the energy conduits were intact but dormant. Lily examined the systems with her tablet, noting energy patterns and structural stability. Together, they began to activate the ship. Following the guidance of the Guardian, slowly energy flowed through the hull, lights flickered on, and the engines hummed softly. The ship was alive, responding to their touch, guided by the Guardian's knowledge. Ethan felt a thrill he had never experienced before. This was not just a machine, it was a legacy, a bridge between civilizations and a testament to human skill and determination. This is incredible, Ethan whispered. We're not just repairing a ship, we're restoring history, bringing life back to something that has waited over 1,000 years. Lily smiled, her eyes shining. And the Guardian trusts us to do it. That's the greatest responsibility of all. As they continued their work, the Guardian projected another hologram showing distant star systems under threat. Ethan realized that this was the Guardian's true mission, to protect knowledge, civilizations, and life from destruction. The Guardian had been silent for over a millennium, waiting for someone worthy to continue its work. We can help it, Ethan said quietly. We can use this knowledge to protect these systems, to prevent the same mistakes that destroyed the civilizations the Guardian watched over. Lily nodded.
Yes.
But we have to be careful. We can't rush. Every action must be precise and thoughtful. The Guardian moved beside them, its massive hand resting near the ship's console. Ethan felt its energy flow through the room, guiding their actions, teaching them not just technology but wisdom. He realized that humans had been chosen not because of strength or power, but because of curiosity, intelligence, and the ability to care. Hours turned into days as they prepared the ship. Ethan repaired the final energy conduits. Lily aligned the systems, and the Guardian watched, occasionally projecting holograms to guide them. The bond between human and alien grew stronger with each passing hour. Finally, the ship's systems stabilized completely. Lights glowed across the hull, engines hummed steadily, and energy shields flickered on. Ethan and Lily stepped back, exhausted but proud. The Guardian's eyes glowed brightly, and it made a low, resonant sound that Ethan felt in his chest. It was a signal of approval, a recognition of their effort and trustworthiness. Ethan turned to Lily. "We did it. We restored the ship, and we earned the Guardian's trust." Lily smiled faintly. "Yes, but this is only the beginning. There's so much more to learn, so much more to protect." The Guardian extended a hand, projecting a map of star systems again. This time, the systems were alive with movement, energy flows, and potential threats. Ethan realized that their mission was just beginning. Humans, guided by the Guardian, could now protect knowledge, prevent destruction, and perhaps even rebuild civilizations. "We have to be ready," Ethan said quietly. "This knowledge is powerful. But humans have a unique strength: curiosity, courage, and the ability to adapt. That's why the Guardian chose us." "Wow!" Lily nodded. "And together, we can do it. We can honor the trust it has given us." The Guardian moved closer, standing beside them. Its massive form was imposing, but there was a calm wisdom in its presence. Ethan and Lily felt a deep respect for it, a recognition of the centuries it had waited, the knowledge it had preserved, and the responsibility it had entrusted to them. Ethan took a deep breath, feeling the weight of the moment. "This is incredible. We face something that has been silent for over 1,000 years. We've learned from it, earned its trust, and now we have the chance to continue its mission." Lily looked at him, eyes bright. "And we won't waste it. Humans can rise to the challenge. We have to." The Guardian extended its hand toward the ship, and the engines hummed louder, ready for action. Ethan and Lily stepped aboard, feeling the power and history of the ancient vessel. It was more than a ship. It was a legacy, a tool, and a guide. Together with the Guardian, they were ready to face the galaxy, protect knowledge, and safeguard civilizations from destruction. As the ship lifted from the station, the stars stretched out before them. Ethan looked at Lily and smiled. "We did it. And this is only the start. Humans have a chance to make a difference, guided by the Guardian and its wisdom." Lily nodded. "Yes, and we have to be careful, brave, and clever. That's what makes humans strong. That's what will carry us forward." The Guardian watched silently, its massive eyes glowing softly, as if approving of their words. The station faded behind them, a relic of the past, and ahead lay endless possibilities. Ethan and Lily realized that they were no longer just explorers or mechanics. They were partners with an ancient being chosen to protect knowledge, civilizations, and life itself. Humanity had earned a place among the stars, not through power, but through curiosity, courage, and wisdom. The galaxy was wide, mysterious, and full of challenges. But with the Guardian by their side, Ethan and Lily felt ready. They had awakened a being frozen for 1358 years, learned its secrets, and earned its trust. Now, together, they would face the future, guided by knowledge, courage, and the enduring spirit of humanity. The ship moved smoothly through space, engines glowing, energy flowing perfectly. Ethan Harper, a simple human mechanic, and Lily Monroe, his cautious and clever companion, had begun a journey that would test their skills, their courage, and their hearts. The Guardian, silent for over a millennium, now moved with purpose teaching, guiding, and protecting, and humanity had proven itself worthy. The stars stretched endlessly before them, full of mysteries, dangers, and possibilities. Together, human and guardian would meet them all, and the galaxy would never be the same again.